I think we have it set up too, and Chag set it up to where it's in DukNilla now as well. Yours and mine.
Good. Excellent.
So he working on it for us.
Getting all comfy.
Are we live? Testing 1, 2. Hello.
Told you can't make me laugh. We are definitely
Welcome.
live now.
Yes, welcome to the DukNilla cast. I'm doing the introduction today because our lovely Vanilla James is under the weather and coughing.
I sound like a beautiful.
We'll probably hear
a beautiful unicorn. Okay.
A beautiful, right? Yeah. Picture a beautiful unicorn, and that'll be Vanilla James's face on it. But thanks for being here. I'm Olduk, Vanilla James over here, hosting the show for the NFL podcast that we're going to be working on tonight. So we got some interesting things to talk about. We'll be talking about the last week and the games and how that went, and we'll get into the power rankings that I'm a little fired up about. They're already messed. Oh, why did I pick NFL.com to look at our power rankings? I don't know, but he's making me upset every single time. So we'll talk about that. Talk about how our fantasy is working and how that's going, maybe. I don't know how good of a week we had. We'll have to see on that.
And then we'll get into our picks. We're doing really good.
I know. Good. So,
by the way, before we start, I just want to add, you're looking extra short today.
I am.
Yeah.
Maybe because I'm getting older, man. You get into the 40s, it's like my chair.
It might be. I was gonna say it shorter. might be your chair, but
I'll make myself look taller here. There, look at that. Look at that.
I'm not supposed to be laughing, but I had to throw that out. I'm like, get it out.
I lowered my chair because my arms were too high up, and it just felt like I was getting tired, and I was having issue with my shoulder. So I put it so it's more level with the table, and it actually feels better. So, but yeah, that's why. But I have not shrunk yet. I'm still inching towards the 6 foot, but I'm not there.
I always say I'm 6 foot. And my family gives me crap because, like, my brothers are both. I'm the oldest, but both my brothers are taller than. They're like 6'5", 6'4", and I've always said I'm 6 foot.
Right.
But I'm probably more on the line of 5'11".
If I got shoes on, I'm 6 foot all day. I'm 6 foot all day with shoes.
I also have a really bad hunch, like I hunch a lot. So if I stood up, I'm probably 6. I might even be a little taller.
You know what? You might be closer to 6'2". You know what I'm saying? We got to give ourselves a little something.
Just a little bit.
Because we were chosen to be the average height of everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess if we were in, other parts of the country, we'd be freaking tall.
Oh, yeah. As someone who's been, as someone who's been to other parts of the world, I've been to Southeast Asia, and I can confirm I am a giant over there. I am a massive human being. Especially like because being in the Marines and being in combat, and we would help train over there. And to us, we're big bulky people, and I'm we wear armor, they don't, so we look even more gigantic. They look very tiny. But let's talk about you mentioned the fantasy. We'll recap that real quick. We actually got 3rd place last week.
Okay.
Our depth,
averaging pretty good.
We picked very well with our depth. Like 2 of our wide receivers were like people we picked up in round like 12 and on.
Mm-hmm.
Like we had Mike Evans, and mind you, best ball is, you don't put people in your lineup. The best players automatically go into those positions.
Right.
Mike Evans got 14.5 points, which is respectable. Didn't even make it. He's on the bench.
Oh,
wow. Marquise Callaway on the bench. Emmanuel Sanders got 13 on the bench. Nick Chubb had a decent game. 14 points on the bench.
Mm-hmm.
Thank God Jared Goff Baker didn't do it. We'll get into that later.
Oh my gosh!
But
don't start on him yet. Let's rip into him later.
Yeah. So what really saved us is we have Gronk as our main tight end. He's out, but Hunter Henry, came out and put up a respectable 13.
Okay.
We have Randall Cobb.
Mm-hmm.
Not many people took him. He even picked him up. He got us 23. AJ Green.
Yeah,
not many people picked 17. So we also had Terry McLaurin put up 33, which is, it's not Tyreek Hill putting up 50, which I don't know if you know that. In fantasy and full PPR, he put up 50 points. 50. Wow. It was, and of course I have him in a couple other best ball leagues, which is
very nice.
But overall, we are in our best ball league. It hasn't updated yet, but we were ranked 5th. So I project I don't think we're gonna hit the top 2 picks.
We might hit 4.
Let me see. Trying to look at the other players real quick and see. I think we'll definitely hit 3rd or 4th. I think we're inching our way up to those top 2, which we only need to be in the top 2 to move on to the next round. Right. We got till I think week 12. So, plenty of time to get up there. And the biggest thing we talked about on draft day was depth. Look at all the injury. I mean, just going through our team real quick. We could go through some of the injuries we do have. Rob Gronkowski's out.
That's a chest injury, wasn't it? Ribs?
Yeah, he believed he bruised his ribs. He thought he broke his ribs. No, he fractured his ribs and punctured his lung.
Oh my gosh! So he's out for a longer time than we think.
No, he thinks he was hoping he could come back this week. The doctors told him no.
No, not with a punctured lung.
So he's eyeing the next. He's eyeing the next week.
Yeah.
But I mean, when we talk about depth, we talk about drafting depth, and we did hit on a Randall Cobb, which I talked about in the draft. I was high on, and AJ Green, which has been very promising, and Emmanuel Sanders. Mm-hmm. Zach Pascal has been amazing for us.
Yeah,
the last couple weeks. I mean, he put up 8, which is for someone you picked towards the last round, in the 20th round.
Yeah, right.
That's pretty respectable.
Playing, yeah.
And he was putting up, I think he put up 22 week 1. So I mean, he's been pretty good. Other people we have 3 people that I would consider, we have McKinnon, Jerick McKinnon, hasn't even got a point yet. I think he might have got 0.3 a couple weeks ago. OJ Howard hasn't even really been catching passes from Brady. I was hoping with Gronk out, OJ Howard was going to be the guy. But he's still recovering from an injury. And they talked about this, I think, a couple weeks ago, that he's not 100%. And the type of injury he had, they expressed that, you don't just come back from that kind of injury. You have to you have to basically relearn how to play football in some ways. So, hopefully maybe that's a better, we'll look at the end of the year and we're like, oh my God, OJ Howard. It's OJ Howard and Gronk.
Right.
And then Scotty Miller's on IR, but Scotty Miller hasn't done anything. I mean, he's looking for an injury to an Antonio Brown before he becomes relevant. But in best ball, too, you are looking to have those guys that, towards the end of the year, the way you're going to win is when a player gets injured and then someone steps into the light. Not many people have that player, but you do. So that can help differentiate your point values. And we'll see.
Yeah, for sure.
We'll be keeping and monitoring on that. But let's get into our picks, which we do have a lovely. Okay. You look above our little heads here.
Yeah, not bad.
We have our weekly. How we've done so far, not bad at all, good sir.
Not bad compared to some. I mean, not great compared to some too. But
I will say this was supposed to be your great comeback week, right?
I truly felt it would be.
This was supposed to be, and I was supposed to have taken the worst picks I've ever taken. By the way, I did have a pick this week where I had to go back and rewatch last week's episode.
Right.
I had to go back and rewatch it, because I was like, I didn't pick them.
It was that close, right? Yeah, this was I mean, I think 4 or 5 of the games that I lost on were 7 points or less.
Mm-hmm.
And they were swing at the end of the game type of points too.
Yeah.
So that hurt, you know.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of teams not stepping up at the end. I mostly stayed with, you know, the favored teams.
For the record,
just
we
didn't win.
5 of the games we've both got wrong, we picked together.
Yeah.
You know, games we had 7 games we picked up different on. I inched you out by 1 game, 4-3.
Yeah.
I inched my way out.
Yeah.
And we'll get into some of those games here shortly.
It was a rough game, rough week.
You know, and I think too, us had, you know, the difference in picks too being 5 different games is it's a pretty big week. You know, a lot of upsets, a lot of things we didn't see coming. But let's jump into it right away. You know, we'll start off with Thursday night. The Bengals, was it at the Jags? I have it pulled up here.
Yep.
No, it was Jags
Bengals.
at Bengals, 24-21. They actually almost lost this game.
I know that's the thing is, I picked Jags to win this, and it was a close game.
You didn't pick the Jags to win this.
No, I didn't. You're right. I picked the Bengals to win this, so I did.
I'm like, no. I'm giving you another. You want another loss, sir?
No. I'm looking at my picks. Yeah, my bad. No, it was close. I thought because at one point Jags were winning.
Yeah.
And I thought it was like, oh crap, here we go, another bad pick. You know, it's like, come on. But yeah, that was a close game. You know.
And I think the highlight for this week too was that Trevor Lawrence didn't look that bad. He did not look bad. Yeah. I thought I've been taking notes every Thursday night, like in-depth notes. And of course I don't have them. But I mean there is some injury news from there. Joe Mixon got hurt. Likely out 5 weeks. To me though, Joe Mixon, as good of a player as he's never been like this all-star pick. You know, I mean, like play wise, like I've never been sold on him. Right. I think they'll be fine without him, kind of thing. I mean, I think he is better than the next guy up, but let me see the next guy. But next up we had, which by the way we both took the Bengals. This is the one we both got wrong right away.
Sorry, had the wrong screen up.
Oh,
Washington and Falcons.
Not the Washington Falcons. Titans. Which one are you on?
Oh,
and Jets.
Titans.
Granted, this was in New York.
Yeah, this is another close game that Titans shouldn't have won.
By the way,
shouldn't have lost this.
They shouldn't. No, they should have ran them over. But yeah, this raises a lot of questions. I mean, we've had this earlier in the season where the Titans lost and we're like, they're done. They're not a playoff team anymore. And then they went out and they beat a good team and we're like, oh well, you know what? They're back. They're good. But this is who the Titans have always been. They're like this team that's good but not good. They could be grindy. Derrick Henry's a literal beast.
Yeah, number 1 in rushing right now.
Like
still.
he,
but
the chef kisses. Chef kisses.
This reminds me of what the Browns were. They can win some of the good games, but they lose the games. They play down to their competition instead of, you know, just completely obliterating the Jets like they should have from the beginning.
We will talk more about trap games at the towards later in the season, but this is a perfect example of a trap game. Where like a team is expected to win, but the other team has a lot of fire and a lot to want. And sometimes that want can just win you the game. And Zach Wilson had a lot to prove, you know. He still looked lost.
Rough start of the year. Yeah.
He looked in this game, going back and watching some of the highlights and watching him play, he looked like he was determined to prove he could play NFL football. And by the way, I put in my notes. I didn't know what to do if they tied and we picked the game. Like, we don't pick ties in football.
Right.
Like,
no.
I'm like, what do I mark this at? We didn't get it right, so
right.
I would have probably scratched it. Like, that's the asterisk.
You have to scratch. Yeah.
But I don't think there was any injury. I'm going back and show you my note. Nope, no injury news. Next game though, we had which by the way we both did get that one wrong. This one we both got right, which was the Chiefs annihilating the Eagles at home. Apparently I had my slide mixed up. I don't have an Eagle slide. All right. Well, I don't have a slide apparently. I didn't put it in.
All right. I'll just put our Duke one up.
Yeah. Let's leave the last one up. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be here somewhere, and I'll be like, there it is. I knew I pulled one. But yeah, the Chiefs dominated the Eagles. Not much to say there. I mean, I will say that at the beginning of this game, the Chiefs were actually losing.
Yeah.
And that, I was about to text you and be like, well, the Chiefs are done. Which I almost am ready to stick a fork in the Chiefs.
They still gave up 30 points, though, to a team that they shouldn't have.
Mm-hmm. Well, that, and like, if you look at their division, they're in fourth place in their division.
You know what their rank is in points allowed? They're 31st in points allowed right now.
Yeah, see, you can't win. I mean, teams. You're not going to win a Super Bowl with a bad defense.
What team have we seen this lately with? Seattle Seahawks is where this comes to mind, where their defense hasn't been great as it used to be. And when it's not, you got to score more points. You can't literally think you're going to score over 32 points every single game. Even with that great of an offense. Yeah, they scored 42, but they weren't playing the best, defense out there. It was a good defense, but it was, yeah.
See, I think I was just really excited to get to this next slide, which is where you took your first L. Which is the Panthers versus the Cows. Excuse me, I took my first L.
You took, yeah.
I actually am really excited about talking about this game, though. Yeah, I took my first L.
Trying to get out of here. I told you.
I love the Panthers, and I've been high on them. Are you still not sold on Sam Darnold?
Never will be sold.
All right,
on
let me spit you some facts real quick. Who leads the league in rushing touchdowns?
I don't care about rushing touchdowns as a quarterback.
Who lead? Excuse me.
It's not going to live up to that. That he's not going to live up to that.
Who leads?
He cannot. I'm sure he does, but that doesn't matter. That's not the point.
In rushing touchdowns, and he got 2. I believe it was.
Okay.
I think it was only 2. If it was 3, hallelujah. But Sam Darnold is a good QB, and I think he is a prime example. To me, I compare him to a Ryan Tannehill, but I almost feel like I'm disrespecting Sam Darnold by calling him a Ryan Tannehill because I think he's way better.
Tannehill, you're disrespecting.
He's way better. He went somewhere, wasn't good. You moved him out, and now he is like the guy. And he's
let's
the guy.
Not go that far. Okay.
I mean, he's got DJ Moore.
The guy. He still threw 2 interceptions to that 2 touchdowns that he got.
The Cowboys have good defense.
Doesn't help. Yeah, I'm just saying. I mean, you can't throw interceptions and expect to win the game, especially 2 or more. And he is consistent in throwing a lot of interceptions.
He also didn't have Christian McCaffrey, which I still took that. I still took the Panthers even without him. So and that expresses my confidence in the Panthers. I'm more confident on their defense.
First half was close, but they got slaughtered in the third quarter.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And then it was just downhill from there.
I mean, the Cowboys are at home. Cowboys are really, I mean, they are a great team. They're starting to prove that they can. I mean, I had some questions after that loss, but they're coming out and proving that they still have some fight. Next up, we have the Saints. What was that? Saints losing at home to the Giants. We both took an L on this one. This was another trap game in my opinion. Like. When we talk about the Saints, and this is also their first game at home. This is their first true home game. This one was rough. Very hard to like predict. I mean, taking it in overtime. But I want to ask you: do you think this is more of a sign of life after Drew Brees?
What do you mean by that?
Like,
How it's gonna be for the
yeah,
Saints? Yeah, I think so. I mean, we were kind of big on Jameis Winston in the beginning of the year. Um, I think
which
he's
he
a
didn't
good,
throw a pick.
decent quarterback. No, but he didn't do much. 200 yards, 1 touchdown. He didn't do a lot. Alvin Kamara was, pretty much they did a lot of running in this game, right?
Yeah,
I mean, they had well over 30, almost 40 carries total in rushing. Um,
I don't
I,
think. Let me ask you this: are the Saints a playoff team?
no, no.
I'm conflicted on it, but given their division, I have to say no.
I think they're a 500 team,
Yeah, I think
maybe a
that's where
game
I'll see them
game or
as
two
well.
over. It's going to take them a year or two to figure out what they're really going to be doing. I think they're going to be looking at different quarterbacks. Even Taysom Hill played a little bit, but he was more or less he's in for a couple things. But he threw an interception. He had 3 attempts at an interception. That doesn't help when you're trying to change some things up a little bit. Daniel Jones had a good game. Over 400 yards passing, 2
He had a
touchdowns, had an
really good
interception.
game. I mean,
He was over 500, so that's really good.
he put up
Saquon Barkley had a
30.
decent game too.
Daniel
Yeah,
Jones put up 30 in fantasy, which
yeah.
you're happy when someone puts up 30.
Which I'm surprised because I honestly did not see him doing much at all.
I mean, he
As a
had a
quarterback,
healthy
I've never
Evan
been sold
Ingram
on him.
back too, so this is noted. Like Evan Ingram came back last week, right, from his injury.
Mm-hmm.
So this week was really like, you're building that chemistry back up with your players. They tried to rush with Evan Ingram, which to me, when you try to rush with a
Mm-hmm.
player, usually to me, I think they're
Yeah,
more fully
they did
healed.
it once.
Yeah,
Yeah,
minus three
Kenny Galladay had a good game. That
for
was
once.
yeah. I mean, he almost had he had 7 targets, 6 receptions. So this was a good game for New York. It was a much needed good game for New York.
They yeah
They needed a game like
yeah
this. So,
to save their season, they needed this
yeah.
100%. To save their fan base, they needed this
Mm-hmm.
more, in my
Oh
opinion.
yeah.
'Cause you got to build hope. I mean, don't forget the year the Giants won the Super Bowl, they were, I believe, an 8-8 team,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and they
Yep.
came back and rode it through. So don't totally count out these teams that are still battling
Right.
it. Just because the probability shows when you start the season 0-4 or 1-3, you're not going to make it. That there's outliers for a reason.
Right.
Next up is my next L here. I'm just saying they were only a touchdown away from tying this game, and the Browns were trying to hand the Vikings the game. They really were.
I don't know if it was handing them the game because their defense was pretty dominating in this game.
Box score, by the way,
But it's
was 14-7.
Yeah,
Browns.
yeah. But this was a defensive game. Both defenses were playing well, and Baker Mayfield played like garbage. He couldn't hit the broadside of a barn today, or that during that game on Sunday. Every pass I watched him pass was 4 to 5 yards further or off the. He had a wide open Odell, wide open walk-in touchdown just to seal the game. He couldn't even throw the ball well then. So he's got some issues. He's normally a very accurate quarterback. He had a bad game. But the fact that he had a bad game and we still won and our defense dominated, that's still a good thing for Cleveland.
Yeah.
But Baker's got to have definitely a better game this next week. Vikings, I just like we talked about last podcast, when you have Kirk Cousin in there and you put pressure on him, he makes multiple mistakes. He was 20 of 38, just over 50%, only had 200 yards passing. He had an interception, 1 touchdown. So the rushing, Dalvin Cook only had 9 carries. He was a little hurt. He was still coming back from the injury, kind of hurt, aggravated a little bit. He only had 34 yards. So our defense was really good. Justin Jefferson had a pretty good game for them.
I'm really high on Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, almost 100 yards. He had a really good game. So it was good to see them. I'm not worried about the Browns at all. I need to see Baker though step it up because the defense can carry a team. We've seen it before with Baltimore. We've seen it with Chicago. We've seen it with other teams, but you got to have a balance. And right now, his passing is bad. Our rushing though is beastly. I mean, we had over 170 yards rushing, 180 yards rushing. So
I have
Nick
a statistic I wanna give you, and I want to ask you if this concerns you at all, because I mentioned it at the beginning of the season, and I've said it earlier, in the postseason, about Odell is a great player. There's no hiding it, no doubting it. But sometimes when you have a player like Odell, you feel forced to give him the ball, right?
Right.
And when I was watching this game, I felt like we were trying to, and Odell is a player, like you want to give him the ball. Like you're like, you got to give him the ball. You got to target him. You got to get him involved. But sometimes I think for balanced teams, and as a Lions fan, I know this very well because Calvin Johnson's that guy. But last week he was 5 for 9 in catches, 2 attempts or targets. And this last game he was 2 for 7.
Yep.
2 for 7 and then 5 for 9 for for 7-16. He's really gotta either we got to get better passes to him. He's got to catch the balls thrown to him, or we're forcing the ball to him in bad coverage.
Right.
Which to me, I saw a bit of that. They also just didn't feel in sync still. This is only a second game back, and
it's coming back from an ACL tear. It's going to take a little bit of time.
Yeah.
But I do think they're forcing it to him too much, and I think Baker needs to understand the first 2 games. Yeah, the Kansas City game we lost, and we won the next one. Our tight ends were our crucial point of this game. We're passing to tight ends. We were passing to them more than we ever have. We weren't doing that as much this time. I mean, we had 14 passes to wide receivers because we didn't. Coming into this game, we haven't had a wide receiver touchdown yet. Right,
no.
Everything's been through the tight ends. It's been through the running backs. We still didn't get one in this game because Kareem Hunt was the one that ran it, and then our other one was a defensive touchdown, I believe, wasn't it?
I can't recall.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't a touchdown. Yeah, no, it was a field. We got an 8-point touchdown, then 2 field goals.
Oh, that's right.
So we only got 1 touchdown the whole game. Yeah, that was a great. I think that was a great call because the running backs we have.
It goes to show.
Well.
We'll get into coaching in a minute with my team, but it goes to showing the difference between good coaching.
Yeah.
And question. I'm going to say good coaching and questionable coaching because I don't want to say bad coaching.
I wouldn't say
you got to take
risks,
and I say that this is something I say. We'll say to my kids as they get older, but you're gonna take risks in life, and when you succeed, people will look at you like a hero and a miracle worker. When you fail, they will look at you like an idiot. But you have to take risks.
So yeah, I think they're trying to force the ball to Odell too much. And I don't know. I don't think that's a coaching thing. I think that's Baker Mayfield. He feels like he needs to get it to him, and I think it's taking away. He needs to understand that we have some of the best tight ends too in the game with Austin Hooper and David Njoku, even some of our rookies. Harrison Bryant's really good too. Schwartz, we have good guys in here. He's just got to be able to use them. We've targeted quite a few people. He threw the ball to 9 targets, and with 8 of them having receptions or 1 or more. So it was a lot of bad passes. And I think that was the biggest thing. A lot of bad passes. Even missed wide open. I was watching the game. I'm like, how did you miss him? You're running that direction. All you have guys. You have a guy to your left here. Our running back was wide open, ready for a catch, and you didn't even see him and took a sack. It was Felton. Demetric Felton was wide open, and he's an up and coming running back too, which is like, man, we've got a really good core in that, but you got to get, be a little bit more consistent in your passing. So hopefully they can figure that out. Our defense was beastly. They call him Jock. It's Jeremiah Osu Koramoa. This kid is a rookie, and he is a linebacker and is menacing. He's doing great. Our defensive line, we've already talked about them. They're really good too. So I think overall, the defensive game is really stepping it up the last 2 games. Hopefully they can keep that consistent with Baker Mayfield doing a little bit better. This can be a pretty good team.
I mean, let's talk. What I'll say about the Browns is that they are smash mouth football of yesteryear, which every team would like to be. Which is they have an amazing defense and they have a running game that can run it down your throat. Their passing game could be a little better, but it's not bad. It's not bad. I'm picking at straws or grasping at straws to try to make it. I mean, I think their tight ends could be better. I think that's why they signed an Austin Hooper, even though you have a Njoku.
Yep. Yeah, Njoku was kind of questionable throughout the year. He was looking at going to a different team. Ended up keeping him here. Cooper's great too, but he had 5 targets and only caught 1.
Yeah.
But you got to look at those too in a sense of, was it even a catchable ball?
Yeah.
And a lot of them weren't. There were a lot of bad passes this game. So
we can make the same argument for Odell too. With I will say this. I think like when we talk about Njoku, I think Njoku is him and Eric Ebron. Lions and Browns. Holding hands in this. I think it's a effect of what we saw with like a Tony Gonzalez, Gronk, Kelsey. You have these tight ends that can just go catch the ball. And I think a Jimmy Graham really helped redefine the tight end position. These tall, lanky guys can go out there and play tight end. They're not going to be asked to block. Like these aren't blocking tight ends. These are like that tight end's out there. You're like, hey, he ain't blocking. He might do a chip block and he's running.
Right.
And I think that like Ebron was drafted 10th overall, way too high. And I think that's and I kind of look at Kyle Pitts this way, where these are receiving tight ends, and I don't see them. I think the league's moving away from that. I think we're moving more towards the George Kittles. The Gronk will forever be Gronk. But the Kelseys and the Kittles, where like you could be a beast at blocking, but you can run.
Yep.
You can run and catch that ball.
Yeah, you got to be able to do both. You can't just be one dimensional when it comes to that, because it will be shown, and it'll give away. Defenses will read that all day long.
All right, moving on to the game I don't want to talk about, but the Lions and the Bears. The Lions losing 24-14 in Chicago. This was supposed to be my boys' first win.
We
both took an L on this one. The Bears, a lot of people are giving props to Justin Fields. I will say that Justin Fields like shined at moments in this game, but that offense did not shine. What this really was, like, don't take this right. This Lions defense sucks.
Yeah,
this Lions defense is terrible. And like I understand it has injuries at corner. Like we don't have a starting corner. We don't have corners. But this is a team that is in complete rebuild. They could tell me all they want. Like no, we're gonna win game. No, you're in rebuild mode. I want you. And now I am in full. I want you to lose every game. I'm gonna root for you to win, but deep down, I want you to lose.
Yeah, they give up a bunch of rushing yards too. 3 rushing touchdowns. I mean, that's not good. I mean, Fields was better, but he wasn't great.
Well, here's the other thing is too. Is I'll say this: it's like the Lions were in the red zone 3 times, or more than 3 times, and they couldn't come away with points.
Yeah.
They could. I mean, and this is where it comes to good coaching versus bad coaching. Is we're down by 10. It's the fourth quarter. It's fourth and I think 8, and we're on like the 12, and we go for it instead of kicking the field goal, keeping it a 1-possession game. Which to me at that point I was fine. I was fine with, because we could barely stop the Bears anyway, and to me I'm like they're gonna get the ball back and get 3 more points anyway. So I kind of was okay with it, but it was that mentality of if you make the good decision and it works, you're a hero. If it doesn't, this is young coach Dan Campbell, ex Detroit Lion himself, says he's the kind of guy. He's the Detroit spirit, rough and tough. If you knock us down, we're gonna bite kneecaps off. But
well, I mean, just looking at it, you had 4 drives of 10 plays or more, which either turned into a turnover on downs or fumbles. I mean, that hurts you. You got 10 plays and you're driving and you're doing good, and then you got a fumble, or you just can't get the fourth down, and that hurt. And that's 4 plays right there that could have easily won the game, even if they got field goals.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
field goals. If they had 4 field goals off of that,
down by
that would have won the game.
Would have been down by 1.
Winning.
Or 4 field goals, yeah.
Yeah, you're winning, right?
Yeah,
so
4,
it's game's over. So you got to get something out of that.
All right, move. Oh, big injury news from that game as well. David Montgomery.
Oh.
Out for 4 to 5 weeks. And he looked amazing in that game.
He had a really good game. Yeah.
He looked the part. He looked good.
Wow.
Now they have Damian Williams, who I believe also can run the ball, but I'm not sold on Damian Williams. Where he ran for the Chiefs. When you run for the Chiefs, I believe everybody has success with the Chiefs, because right. It's Andy Reid.
Offensive line is good.
Offensive line is good, and you run an RPO offense, which I think. If you could be a competent running back, you can get some success out of, especially when you have Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
I'm not sold on Justin Fields yet, so I need more.
No.
I need more proof. Don't just beat the Lions. Beat a good team, and we'll see. Next up, we had the Buffalo Bills demolishing the Texans 40-0. Really big game. Both took the Bills. Not much to say in this game. I mean, Bills, amazing team. Texans, not amazing team. Very, very much expected. You talked about it in our last episode. The pick rate for people picking the Bills was 100%.
This shows right here why.
Now, this is where Duck took his first L. This was the start of our difference in picks, where you started your slow decline. This was the one.
Rub it in.
We do have big injury news from this one as well, which the Colts did win 27-17. Will Fuller for the Dolphins is out, and I'm going to put air quotes, out multiple weeks. But I mean, to me, this was what I was trying to explain is the Colts defense isn't bad. Granted, we don't know who the Dolphins are right now. I don't think the Dolphins know who they are. They have a backup QB. I don't think they're sold on Tua.
No.
And to me, the Colts didn't look terrible. They look competent. Wentz is still hurt. You could definitely see he's still hurt. Captain break 2 ankles, is still just tripping out there. But I think he's a great QB. I think Wentz is a great QB. I mean, you go from being an MVP candidate to this, and I'm not going to say you're bad. Like, you're good. You're still good. Anything you want to say about your first L?
No, I mean you could have went either way with this teams, with the quarterbacking we have.
No way.
Yeah.
No way.
I think if they play this game again, Dolphins win it.
No way.
It's just, yeah.
See this,
100%.
man.
They're pretty.
This is why
they're pretty
you took
matched
the
up.
L.
they're matched up within their offense and defense, team profile. Everything's pretty even on this team. There's no one thing that's blowing them out differently.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's if you play this game again, the same things are going to happen again.
No way.
Or not happen again.
This is where
it can be changed. So
this is where you took your second L, but this one you were reaching for.
Which one's this one?
And granted, this was the Washington football team winning 34-30 to the at home, or the Falcons were at home.
Yep.
So 34-30, Washington football team over the Falcons. You reached for this one, and you admitted that last week.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna hold it. I mean,
close.
I'm gonna hold it because you lost by 1 this week in our pick'ems.
Yep.
Against each other, so that's rough, but I'm not gonna hold this one against you because you said it. You even said you were reaching here, and you almost won it.
Mm-hmm.
Which I would have given. This would have been the. We got
right?
Nostradamus over here.
Yeah, I mean, look at the quarterback play though on both these guys, right?
And I think that's the real story too. This
Tyler Heineke was almost 300 yards, 3 touchdown passes. And a good completion percentage, 23 or 33. Matt Ryan had a good game, 25 of 42, 283, 4 touchdown passes. So and then you had Cordell Patterson had 3. I mean, a lot of them though.
He was former first round pick as well, Cordell Patterson.
Right, and he had to run to get some of these touchdowns though. It wasn't just a catch and touchdown type of scenario. So he did some work as well.
And he's a former Minnesota Viking, drafted by the Vikings. Watching him play for many years, he has some speed. Mm-hmm. So him back in football to me is really cool and really great. I enjoyed watching him, even though he was always against me. Terry McLaurin. Yep, looked amazing.
Yeah,
and even with Heineke at QB.
Oh yeah, he did. Yep.
But
he looked amazing. See, and the thing is, which is even crazier, he had 6 receptions on 13 targets and still got 123 yards and 2 touchdowns. So, I mean, could you imagine him catching 10 or 12 of those? He'd be up 150, 175 yards, maybe 3 touchdowns, So it's one of those things. And it goes back with the Falcons too, because Calvin Ridley had a decent game. I think he could be a really good wide receiver. I liked watching him in college, and he only had 7 receptions out of the 13.
Mm-hmm.
So, and he had 80 yards. He could have, if he had a couple more, put him up over 100, and maybe had a touchdown out of that. So it could have been a lot closer game if we see some better play with some of the other guys. Now, I didn't watch every one of these games and watch every one plays, so I'm not 100% sure if these are bad passes or not.
Yeah.
But from what the quarterback play, what we're seeing, it may not have been, but Matt Ryan is a little bit kind of like a Kirk Cousins, right? He gets some pressure on him. He gets a little flustered too and gets, some bad passes. So,
yeah, this receiving core isn't bad. They have Curtis Samuel, who came back this game. They have Adam Humphries, who I really like as a wide receiver as well.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't a bad team.
No.
Like a bad receiving room. But like the places they need help in is, they really need Ryan Fitzpatrick back. And this is a winnable division. They're 2-2. The Cowboys I think are great. But I don't think they're unbeatable by far. By far I don't think they're unbeatable. But moving on to our next game, we had the Seahawks beating the 49ers 28-21. 49ers at home. This was
Did we both lose this one? Or did
we both lost this one because I magically convinced you.
Yeah, so my loss is your fault. Just so you know.
If you flip one win versus loss, if you flip this game, you're winning,
right? And Russell Wilson wasn't perfect in this game. He had below average stats at 150 yards,
I
2 touchdowns.
I still hold very firmly this team will be below 500 by the end of the season.
I don't agree with that, but this right here is one step towards that. And San Francisco's been kind of up and down already this year. Garoppolo didn't have a great game. But Debo, he did it, man. This boy, 8 receptions, 156 yards, 2 touchdowns. He had a really good game.
Debo,
their rushing wasn't the best either.
No, they need. I mean, this Seahawks, offense runs off their coach,
right?
That's what it is, and I don't think Trey Lance is ready for that yet. He definitely didn't look it when Jimmy G came out of the game. He didn't look ready to start. Whether that's just you go into the game not expecting to start every play, because they still use him, and he looks great at that complimentary role for now.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't have the confidence yet.
Yeah, it's a different place though. It's just you're not going to see that.
Yeah,
you're not going to see much of him.
I want to move on to this next game.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is where you took your next L.
Okay.
And I want to quote a Olduk on this.
Uh-oh.
Kyler Murray is going to have a bad game. 2 interceptions at least.
Okay.
Would you like to say I'm sorry to Kyler Murray?
No. I'm still not sold on them. This team in general,
they just some people annihilated the Rams, 37-20.
Rams
the
just
Rams
came off
were at home.
Yeah, but the Rams just came off of a pretty tough game in Tampa Bay, right?
Mm-hmm.
They won that game, but that was still a very tough. It's always hard to play a very high game like that energy and then go into another one right out the bat and to be consistent enough. We're not sure how the Rams are going to be this year, but they've been playing well at the start and they seem to be doing okay. Just one of those games where they weren't all there. Matthew Stafford had okay, rushing was okay, and receiving was okay. So there wasn't anything that was like great. Sony Michel had a fumble that lost, some turnovers there. So, yeah, no, I'm not sold on him yet, but it was definitely a good game for them.
This was the solidification. Now, in your defense, I only took the Cardinals to be indifferent from you.
Oh, I know that.
After a while, because this was the pick where I was like, I didn't pick this was the pick. I had to go back and watch. Yeah. I was like, I picked the Cardinals? I did that? But, listening to my defense and my, reasoning behind it, I actually agree. I mean, Kyler, I talked about this. I said, and I'm going to retell it right now. The Rams have not faced a true running dual threat QB. And this is where they did it. And they didn't look like they could handle it. Kyler Murray runs the RPO like no one's business. Nobody can run it better than him. After I rewatched this game, nobody can run it as good as he looked so good running the RPO.
Yeah, but the reason why I'm not sold on him is just the same reason I'm not sold on in Baltimore being a good team over time. You're sitting at the edge of your seat every single play that their quarterbacks are running the ball, are doing RPO, are doing something, because you don't know if he's going to get hurt. And so having that as your biggest option, yeah, he did have good rushing. He's a good passer too, but you have to have a balance. And that's why I like Russell Wilson in that sense, because he has a balance. He knows when to run. He's getting, I wouldn't say he's perfect, but he's better at the sliding and stopping.
Here's your confirmation bias. Russell Wilson, Kyler Murray is better at doing what you compare with Russell Wilson. Kyler Murray gets out of bounds, slides early, and he's in all rights, in my opinion, way better at it. Way better. He knows people may question his leadership ability, and some people, they ask, well, maybe that's why they bring in a JJ Watt to help control the locker room. Because there's been questions about that, but when it comes to his play, and we're not talking about there's not been anything major coming out of questioning his leadership at all. It's more of a lack of, per se. But he looks amazing. Like, I don't like when I talk about dual threat. I have the same concerns. Like, you're one hit away from your team no longer being able to run your offense. But he's my exception to the rule, where he plays smartly. He doesn't take hits. Doesn't take unnecessary hits. Doesn't try to fight for an extra yard or two, which we all love when our QB gets up there and lowers a shoulder. We're like, oh,
right.
There's a time and a place for that, but when you're running the ball nonstop, you don't need to prove to me you can do it.
There should never be a time and place for that, especially as a quarterback, because you get one shoulder into it, and it's your throwing shoulder, you're done.
Oh, I can't say that, because last year Brady did it. They lowered it, and the crowd, even I was going nuts.
Sure, it's great.
I will even say that I think that won them the game at that point, because it fired the team up. But there's a difference, because Brady doesn't do that. He's also 40-some years old.
Right.
Like, if Kyler Murray lowered his shoulder and went to hit a guy, I wouldn't get fired up. I would be like, oh, no. Like, what did you do? That's not smart. Like, that's his game, is to run the ball. Like, I need you to play smartly.
Right. Now, I think that shoulder from Tom Brady, though, was unexpected by the defense.
His head coach, Bruce Arians, literally pulled him aside. He said, "That was cool, but never do it again." Literally told, never do that again.
Right. Oh gosh.
All right, we're gonna try to speed through these a little bit more quickly.
Right.
I took my L here because I refused to take the Packers over the Steelers, which it was 27-17.
Yeah, but
the Steelers just don't look connected. They look awful.
They look horrible.
Big Ben finally tried to throw deep, and he looked like he could do it for 2 plays. That's what this game was.
Yep.
This was your last L in our difference of picks here. Was the Ravens beating the Broncos, which to me this was really the telling tale of the Broncos facing a good team. The Broncos finally faced a good team, and they didn't look good.
The Broncos did Denver. Yeah, no, I agree with that. It looked pretty rough. I mean, it didn't help that Teddy got hurt, and so he was out.
Mm-hmm. Which he is quote unquote day to day.
Yeah, Drew Lock came in. Didn't do too great. I mean, he had 113 yards, but he's interception. Those things don't help. Melvin Gordon was, he had average six yards, but only had 9 carries. So, but you weren't seeing a lot because they were behind for a lot of the game too. So, yeah, I mean it's unfortunate. I thought Denver really had a chance to win this one. Lamar did pretty good on passing yards. Of course, he rushed, but he didn't have very much. But
yeah.
Their rushing is not great. They have a lot of older guys on their team. Latavius Murray, Le'Veon Bell, and Lamar. So they don't really have a great rushing team. So, I mean, you shut down their rushing. You should be able to win.
They activated. They said they want to give Love Bell the ball more, which is terrible. It means you don't trust Latavius Murray. You don't trust. So it's. I have questions on the Ravens. I'm still not 100% sold on them. I think they're a dynamic team. But I also was never sold on the Broncos, so I can't say that the Broncos are this great team either, and they beat a great team.
Yeah, I think the Broncos rely on Teddy being in good health. If he's not in good health and getting hurt again, that's going to hurt that team. I don't think Drew Lock's going to be able to take it and do much with it.
Yeah, and next up we have the game that, to me, the game of the week should have been the Rams versus the Cardinals, but this definitely overshadowed that. And that was the Brady returning home to Gillette to now have completed his Thanos gauntlet of defeating every team
Right.
in the NFL.
I mean,
Almost
barely,
lost. Yeah,
barely, right?
yeah.
You know,
A doink off the post, which
uh,
if he would have made that kick, I would have been like, that's a miracle because it started raining heavily. The
yeah,
Nick Folk already had injury on his plant leg, so it was like this colossal set of failures. But you got to
yeah.
perform at that point. Some points I want to point out with this one real quick is that they didn't really celebrate Brady's achievement for most passing yards in history. He surpassed Drew Brees. They didn't really celebrate it.
Yeah.
And that Mac Jones looked like a scared little child out there. He looked so nervous.
He did good though.
But he actually played pretty well. He looked promising, but he just looked lost.
I mean, 31 of 40 completion. That's great completion percentage.
Mm-hmm.
275 yards, yeah, interception, 2 touchdowns. The biggest issue with the Patriots, they had no running. Their rushing was horrible. The most
Patriots, yes.
4 yards, and they barely attempt rushing. You know, they had 8 attempts essentially. So the rushing was you can't be one dimensional against Tampa Bay. Even though the score was close, you're not going to win that game.
Yeah. I think they really were, though. I think the biggest thing is they know. I have to push back on that a little bit because Tampa's biggest weakness right now is their secondary, which is why they went out and signed Richard Sherman, which, by the way, started. They signed him on Wednesday. He started on Sunday. I mean, they were reporting, he picked up the defense so well. He knows it all. And when he was out there, they actually targeted him. They picked on him a little bit.
Right.
And, the offense won. And, so it was considered, it's his first game back. I'll give him a break.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, he is he's a potentially good leader for that locker room. I know he has his demons, but right. We're not going to get into that, but he, as a football player, he's a good football player, but I have my concerns about him. And then next up, we have our last game, which we both took the L on this one. We both took the Raiders, but the Chargers at home, 28-14. I think we need to be higher on these Chargers. They beat the Chiefs. They beat the Raiders, number 1 in their division now.
Yeah.
Justin Herbert.
He had a pretty good game.
Yeah, they look pretty good. I mean, yeah, that was a pretty impressive game. Pretty impressive.
I was trying to pull up. I had the wrong screen up. I wanted to see some of the stats here. Yeah, I thought, I'm still sold on LA or Las Vegas doing well and being a good team. I think this is one of their bumps in roads with, Derek Carr. The rushing wasn't good either. They couldn't establish the rushing game, so that hurt them a lot, and so they had to rely on Derek Carr too much in this game, and I think that hurt them. But Herbert had a really good game. 3 touchdown passes. He had 3 touchdown passes, but they had a really good rushing game. Austin Eckler, 117 yards and a touchdown. So when you can have that many yards and average almost 8 yards a carry, that means you're dominating that defense, that defensive line, even the linebackers. So it was good for them. They had a good game. Jared Cook, he played for Las Vegas. LA when they were in LA. So he's been around a few different teams, but he had a good game too. So I think he wanted to prove something. I think you get a lot of that. Playing against a team he used to be on, and whether he got cut or whatever it was.
Jared Cook's been a journeyman throughout the league. He's played for a lot of teams.
Yeah, I think he's a good tight end too. I mean, I liked him. It's there's another guy too. I can't remember his last name. Ben. He played for the Browns. Then he went down to San Francisco and went to a couple different teams.
Ben Watson.
Yeah, Ben Watson. Yeah, He's kind of reminds me of him too. Ben Watson.
They're probably Ben. I can't speak for Ben Watson, but Jared Cook's problem is injury.
Yeah.
He's not the greatest run blocker. He can run block better than some of those other guys we talked about earlier, but he gets injured a lot.
Right.
That's the problem with him. With that said, let's jump into these power rankings.
All right. So we're gonna go through this kind of quicker.
Yeah.
I'm not a
we're
big,
a little behind schedule.
Yeah, we're a little behind. I'm not a big fan of NFL.com right now. So we're using it, but I don't like their rankings. And I don't agree with them at all on most of it. So rank 32, they have Houston Texans, which
100% agree.
So be it. They got killed. Detroit is at 31. They dropped 4.
I'll agree. Reluctantly.
They're 0-4. I mean, Jacksonville actually moved up one spot, which they lost in overtime. So I could see that being okay.
Mm-hmm.
Chicago is stayed at 29
after winning.
Yeah,
but you beat the Lions, so you deserve to be there.
Yeah. I mean, see, the Lions moved back, so I mean, it is what it is, right? Jets moved up; they did win, so they moved 4 spots to 28. Falcons dropped down to 27. They didn't win. You can't win games and stay up high in rankings. Miami Dolphins dropped down 5 spots to 26. Philadelphia dropped 3 to 25. We got New York Giants at 24. They actually moved up 6 spots. That win was pretty big. 6 spots worth. I don't know about that, but Washington moved up to 23 from 24. New England actually moved up 1 spot, even though they lost, but it was a close game with Tampa Bay. They moved to 22nd.
I was gonna say that's more about who they played.
Yeah. Colts moved up 5 spots to 21st. I think these are knee-jerk. To me, this is a knee-jerk reaction to one win away, playing the Dolphins and winning there. I don't know. 5
I think
spots
this is more of a correction of dropping certain teams. Like we finally decided to drop, like the Eagles. We finally decided to let the Dolphins drop. Like I think that's more of the knee-jerk.
Yeah, I still think it's a knee-jerk reaction. Pittsburgh stayed at 20, even though they lost again.
They need to be like above, like 25, like 25 to 20, exactly, like 28, maybe even 29.
They're playing garbage. Ben is looking awful. Looks like he's been injured most of the time. He just can't do anything right, so it's not good. Saints moved down to 19 after their loss at home. Tennessee is still in the top 20 at 18. Moved from 15. Kind of surprised that he didn't drop him out of the 20. Vikings moved down 1 spot from 16 to 17. This could have been worse for them if Baker Mayfield played better and the score was bigger. But it wasn't. So Denver moved down 4 spots from 12 to 16. I think that's good. They didn't play the game that they should have played. And Teddy got hurt, so that didn't really help. He had concussion through that. So Bengals moved up 4 spots from 19 to 15. I like that move. Joe Burrow's looking pretty good. The team is doing pretty well. I mean, it was the Jaguars. They won in overtime, but they're 3-1. So they're tied atop the AFC North. Panthers moved down 1 rank from 13 to 14. 1, I think, is fine. It wasn't a horrible game for them. San Fran, this is a big one. Dropped out of the 10, out of 7 to 13.
It's about time they moved down out of the top 10, by the way.
Yeah, they just should have never been up there. Seattle moved up 5 spots from 17 to 12.
You beat the 49ers, which is this is too big of a push.
But I think both of them are drastic changes, and it's just too much. But, because we're probably going to see one or the other drop out again, another 5 or 6 spot, and switch to something else.
Well, I hope we see Seattle drop more after they lose it. Spoiler alert.
I don't know if they're going to lose. Las Vegas Raiders dropped from 9 to 11, so they moved out of there, which, so be it. They didn't play great. This one here,
the top hurts. 10. This is where we get in.
This is top 10. So the Browns have been number 8 all along. This Yahoo Dan Hanzus moved them to 10
after
a win. It was a defensive game.
While you're giving your rant, I need to go get a soda. I'm gonna let you
get something because
real quick.
let me. Yeah, you're gonna move a team that defensively has been dominating the past 2 games back two ranks from 8 to 10, just because Baker didn't have a great game. The defense stepped up and had an amazing game. So this right here just shows me the credibility of this guy in his rankings and dropping people back and forth all the time. It's
who is this guy?
It boggles my mind. I just don't get it.
Who does he think he is?
I don't get it. I don't get it. They moved LA. This is how bad it is, okay? He moved LA out of number 1 to rank 9.
Whoa!
You're going to move a number 1 team.
For the record, this is my first time looking at this. I know who's number 1, but I haven't seen any other team on this list. This
8 spots out. That's
all right,
ridiculous.
Duck, go get yourself something to drink. I got to go on a rant. This is the most ridiculous thing I have ever seen on a power rankings. Yeah. You drop this team 8 spots after losing to a good team. You didn't move the Bucks down when they lost to this team.
No, you kept them there, moved them 1 rank.
This is egregious. This is ridiculous.
This is the credibility that I don't understand this guy. I don't understand his picking and rankings. You can read all this all day.
I'm reading it right now. What is the reasoning to go down 8 spots? This team still should be above the Bucks. The Bucks almost lost to the Patriots. I don't care if that is your old coach.
Number 8, Kansas City. They moved down 2 spots, even though they won, and they won pretty easily in that game. Like we were talking about, right? So
I still don't trust the Chiefs, though. This is
yeah, but I
can understand this a bit.
Keep them level. You know, I don't think they should have went anywhere.
No,
just like the Browns.
Some teams have to move up.
But it doesn't matter. They didn't. They won their game. We won our game. They should have never moved from their ranks from the beginning. I'm still upset about that. They moved the Chargers up from 10 to 7.
The Chargers should have moved up more, in my opinion.
No.
You just knocked down the Raiders.
Yeah,
you knocked down the Raiders. You took out the Chiefs. They should be way higher, in my opinion. When you win big games like that, you deserve.
Here's another big move into the top 10. Dallas Cowboys.
I don't agree with this one at all.
14 to 6. This is a major 8 spots. 8 spots, right?
Yeah, I don't
Baltimore.
At all.
Baltimore stayed at 5.
I mean, I'm not. Baltimore to me is probably a top 10 team, but they're not a top 5 team at all.
Yeah,
no way.
Green Bay, even though Green Bay won, they moved them back from 3 to 4. Okay.
I mean, they beat the Steelers.
So here we go. We're up and down, up and down, up and down with the Green Bay. They won.
You say that, but when we start doing our power rankings, you make moves.
But we're not gonna massive moves like this guy's doing. You're really agreed with the LA Rams moving 8 spots back?
No, I'm not agreeing with what he's doing. But I'm just saying when we do our power, we're gonna have moves like this. We will have moves like this.
And if we look at the one on ESPN.com, it's way different, right? They have Buffalo Bills as number 1.
That's even
Buffalo
more
Bills
egregious.
are number 1. I believe Buffalo Bills is number 1. 40-0. You're an NFL team. You should not be getting killed. I don't care. I don't care who you are. You're an NFL player. You should not be getting killed 40-0.
Yeah.
And they got slaughtered. Okay. Number 2, Tampa Bay stayed at number 2. Here's what fired me up right here. Rank 1.
I agree with this,
that win. No, there's no way. You move up 10 spots from 10 to 1?
They should have never been 10. I said last week they should not be 10. They should be top 5.
No.
There's a reason there.
But this goes along. These rankings are garbage. I'm flat out telling you this.
This is how rankings go.
Okay. I'm okay with the Cardinals being number 1, but don't screw it up and say, "Oh, they're 10. Oh, well, they had this really good game. Got to throw them up 10 points up to number 1."
Wait, what I
maybe two. You don't throw a team. Let me get this out. You don't take a team out of number 1 that easily, and especially drop them almost out of the top 10. And then
that's the most
top 10 guy
thing.
And take your top 10 team and put them in number 1. It's just ridiculous.
To make your point is like you don't to have that drastic of moves like that. It shows where like you're not putting like we all have personal opinions when it comes to these teams. But the egregious of over jerkness of from 10 to 1 it's kind of hard. And then like to see like jerks like the Rams go all the way to 8. Like we all know the Rams are going to jump back up.
Let me do quick top 10 ESPN rankings because I want to show you this is what it should be. I agree with all this setting, okay? Top 10 Las Vegas Raiders number 10.
Okay, let's do it quick.
Chargers number 9. Dallas 8. Baltimore Ravens 7. You got the Browns at 6. Green Bay Packers at 5. Tampa Bay's at 4. LA Rams at 3. They didn't drop to 10 or 9. Cardinals at 2, and you got the Bills at 1.
You didn't say the Chiefs there, did you?
Chiefs are 11 or 12.
That's what I'm saying. Like Chiefs already tied. Like this is where I kind of agree with. I agree with that way better. But we're here talking about the NFL. This is our hub, NFL.com. This is your monopoly on the NFL, and that's why we're gonna rip this apart until next year. We start doing our own, and we show what a real power ranking looks like.
Absolutely. I mean, this guy's getting ripped a new one all the time. I watch it on NFL TV all the time. It's just like I don't. What are you doing? How can you move a team from 10 to 1?
Mm-hmm.
And they, like you said, they probably shouldn't have been at 10. They should have been at a 5.
They should have been higher. I mean, you put a 3-0 team,
a 4, maybe 4 to 1. You don't do a 10 to 1. That just
here's the thing too is when you do power rankings, you need to like. I understand there's a big thing within power rankings. When you have a major injury, that adds or subtracts to your projected where we project you or where someone should be projecting you. That adds. So like, look, when we talk about the Cardinals, there's not been a huge injury. So them not jumping up is just pure speculation or pure opinion on the matter. But to drop the Rams all the way down, there wasn't a huge injury on the Rams.
Yeah. Well, you look at it. I just looked at it too. Week 3, the Rams were 4. Week 5, the Rams were 1. Week 3, 4. Week 3, they're 4. Week 4, they were 1. And week 5, they jumped all the way to 9. So they're moving that much within 3 weeks. And it wasn't,
All right. We need to move on to the battle.
Right.
Our weekly picks. Duck, you're down by 4. I'll give you the option. Would you like to pick first?
Sure.
Or defer?
I'll pick first.
We'll pick first for the Thursday night game.
Yep.
Week 5, not week 6. Thursday night, Rams in Seattle.
Yep. Going Seattle.
Our first.
It's a home game. LA's going to take another L here.
But that would justify your drop then. Like, if they take their L here, then they probably deserve to be where they drop.
That's a drastic drop, though. It's a drastic drop.
I am taking the Rams. I've talked about I don't believe in the Seahawks. I've said it from the beginning of the season. They're going to be a below 500 team. Guess what? This week, they're about to be below 500. They're losing to the Rams. Next up, I guess I'm picking first. This is the Turd Bowl. The Jets
right?
going against the Falcons at home. This is I'm going to talk out loud. Maybe this helps your opinion. I don't know. I want to take the Jets. I do. I really want to take the Jets after that high. That high of winning that game against the Titans. but the Falcons have a better offense. They're at home.
Mm-hmm.
I have a hard time wanting to take either of these teams.
Yeah, I wish we could put the middle in. Can we skip this pick? Because it's like,
But
which it can go either way with these two teams, to be honest.
I'm gonna. I wish I wasn't picking first because I would just take the opposite of you.
Well,
but I'm gonna take
I'm
gonna take the Falcons because I don't know.
Yeah, I'm going Falcons too. Already had them picked.
It's hard for me to go with the Jets. I want to go with the Jets based off the, that win. But all right, next up, Lions at the Vikings.
Lions at the Vikings. Did you miss? Is that what you have next?
Yeah, I have that next.
Oh,
I'm on NFL.com looking.
Okay. Vikings.
Like I'm going Vikings as well. I love my Lions, but they need some
this
tough loving right now.
Mm-hmm. Vikings have good defense right now, so it's gonna be hard for them.
Man, why do I gotta pick first on the games that I don't know? like the Saints at Washington.
No.
Saints haven't been playing well.
You want mine?
No,
I'll give it to you.
No. Let me get this out. I don't want you to affect my opinion on this. I want the Saints, but I want Washington. I'm gonna go with Washington.
Yeah, I got the Saints on this one.
We're going apart here again.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Duck trying to get his comeback.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Again, probably the easiest pick Duck will ever have. The Patriots at the Texans.
That's a tough one.
Yep. This could be a trap game.
This is. I mean, I'm going Patriots on this one. I don't see them losing after that close game that they played. I think they're gonna be on a high with that game.
Mm-hmm.
And they're gonna go into Texans and win that.
Yeah, I'm going Patriots as well. Dolphins at the Bucks. I'm going Bucks.
Yeah, Bucks. Next
up is Ducks pick Packers at the Bengals.
Packers.
I'm going Bengals.
You go right ahead.
I haven't picked the Packers this season, I don't think. Okay, Chief?
No, you're not. I pick the Packers every time, I think. So
you've said it every week. They're your Panthers.
Yeah.
Next up, Broncos in Pittsburgh. This is going to be an interesting game. This is another one where the Broncos can beat I don't even want to call the Steelers good. I don't know if I can. I don't know.
Am I picking first?
No. No, it's me.
Okay.
It's hard. Like I want to take the Broncos. It's hard, but the Steelers, you're at home. You gotta win, but you know what? I'm just taking my gut. I'm going the Steelers.
Okay.
This is my gut.
Gut's going that way. I got to go opposite because I got to make up some ground on you.
You can lose ground. Don't just.
This is a big. Because
I would say. I mean, I'm not gonna say how to pick, but
I don't like picking a Steeler. I hate the Steelers.
I will say I don't feel good about it.
I mean, Steelers are favored to win this one. Give me 1 second here. Let me look at something else.
I mean, to help formulate your opinion, Teddy Bridgewater is day to day.
I know, but Ben's looking like crap too, so it doesn't really matter. I'm going Broncos. I can't pick.
Soul, he's in.
Yep.
All right, next up, Duck picks first. Eagles at the Panthers. Is this the week?
Gosh.
Is this the week?
Are they just trying to make me pick the Panthers? All right. I'm picking the Panthers, not because Sam Darnold. Not at all. I think he's going to screw it up. I think Panthers are going to win. But it's not going to be because of Sam Darnold. It's going to be like the Browns when Baker played like crap. Darnold's going to do the same thing to me. So I'm going Panthers.
Yeah, I'm going Panthers as well. Next up, Titans at the Jags.
Oh my God.
I'm going Titans.
I'm going Jags. The Jags have got to win a mother flipping game. They're gonna win.
You're going Jags? Who'd you just take?
I'm going Jags. Even after Urban Meyer was having a little fun out, and you know, his
you know what? Give that man. Why are people giving him crap for real? Like, why are people giving him
married?
crap?
He don't need to be having someone rubbing up on him.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Bro's married and kids and everything. Okay.
Oh,
and he's had some issues in the past.
Oh,
he don't need to be having someone rub in his own restaurant too. What do you expect someone to be doing up there? You know what I mean?
So maybe they
love
a different lifestyle. I don't.
No, they don't. He's a pretty conservative guy.
Oh,
supposedly.
All right. Well, this is not good. Not good for him then.
So, but I'm going with them because I think they needed that as a team because there's so many things going on. I think they're going to come back together.
They needed Urban Myers.
Well, you know, I think there was. Yeah,
that's what you. I want to clarify. Is that what you're saying? They needed that incident, or are you saying they need the win?
That was like the bottom, right, for the team. I think.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was.
Oh, you think they hit the bottom?
Issues.
Okay.
I think this is the top opportunity for them now to shut that noise out.
Okay.
If they get a win, that's going to help them. So I'm going with them.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. You pick first in this one. Browns with the Chargers.
The Chargers are favored in this game. I've got to go Browns.
I'm going Chargers.
I've had the Browns winning a few more games before they lose. So Herbert was good. I think the Browns are strong enough to shut him down and really shut down the running as they have in the past few games.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're going to see Baker step up. Not too often have you seen in the past of him having slump games after slump games. When he has a slump game, the next game's usually a pretty big game. So I'm going Browns on this one.
Yeah. I'm going Chargers. I will say, if there's a team that's going to beat the Chargers, I think the Browns will. I mean, the Chargers beat the Chiefs. They beat the Raiders. The Browns are a better defense than both those teams. But I don't know about better offense. So, I mean, they're definitely a better offense than the Raiders, but not the Chiefs, right?
They're definitely a better rushing team, 100%.
Oh,
1,000%. Passing, that's still questionable.
The Chargers run the RPO better.
Herbert's definitely, yeah. But I mean, you're gonna play against a defense that can cover that better than you have so far. So we'll see. I definitely think it's gonna be a good game.
We have the Bears at the Raiders. I'm slam dunking Raiders.
Yeah, 100%.
You will not get me to take the Bears.
Yeah, there's no chance. Even if Field has a great game, they're still not going to beat them. There's too much other issues.
You're up next. 49ers at the Cardinals. Am I penciling you in for the Cardinals?
Yes. No, you write it in pen. You don't have to pencil it in. 49ers don't have a chance.
I'm taking the Cardinals as well.
If Cardinals keep playing like they are, they're going to be a tough team to beat. But I'm still worried about Murray. Even if he does slide well and gets out of bounds, there's always one play that he thinks he can do more than he can. and it might be bad. I just don't want. I would hate to see that happen. Is what I'm saying.
This is my trap game. The Giants at the Cowboys. This is the trap. This is where I could see this going either way. Even though the Cowboys are 1,000% a better team, I am a real big. I say it every week. If it's your division, doesn't matter who you are, you could win this game. I think the Giants are getting healthier, which is why I'm taking the Giants.
Yeah, they had a good game. You know, QB wise, running, everything was good for the last game, but I don't see them going into Dallas and winning. They're still not that good of enough team. I think Dallas is playing strong enough.
So I'm putting you down for the Giants, okay?
No, Dallas. They have a good running. They have good offensive and defensive lines, and that's I'll always go to that because it's always the core of the team. We've seen it with the Browns. Our offensive line wasn't the best. They were still good. Defensive line was great. Quarterback was garbage. We still won the game. So if you have those, I think it's definitely what they have, and I think it's capability of them winning. So I got Dallas in this one.
Game of the week. Your pick here, Bills at the Chiefs. Prime time.
Wow.
Game.
Yeah, this is going to be – I can't wait to watch this game, to be honest with you. I'm really curious to see how the Bills can come and play after that last game that they just demolished. Are they going to be on too big of a head, high mentality, or are they going to play well enough to win that game and not make any mistakes? Kansas City has been – they're favored in this game. It's a home game. It's a hard place to play there. I think the Bills go in and win. I'm going with the Bills on this one.
And you going Bills? I'm really conflicted. I will, no matter who I pick, I'm going to be rooting for the Bills. But primetime game, Josh Allen hasn't proven to me that he's a primetime winning QB yet. I think his record in primetime games is pretty low. The Chiefs just can't, people are underestimating them. People aren't, they're garbage.
I think they're 10-11-0 or something with the quarterback at primetime games or something like that. It's been pretty high.
Yeah, Chiefs are. I mean, primetime. They're going to be really, always going to be. It's going to, no matter what, this is going to be a good game. Like you said, this is a hard place to play, and at prime time. I want to take the Chiefs. I'm having a huge dilemma in this one. This is the one that's gonna like if there was a pass button, like, can I get a minute? Can I have a second here? Right. Can I get I'm gonna go with my gut and just say Bills, because I feel the Chiefs could win this game in Arrowhead, but I mean the Bills are just playing way better. The Chiefs are also losing to the teams. They're not playing the lights out. Like what defense? You just said it. What's their defensive rank?
Yeah, it's not great. I don't remember exactly offhand.
It might have been a different team. I thought you said 31st.
No, they're not 31st. I don't think. I'll pull it up, but let me look here.
Either way, it can't be good.
Yeah.
They're not.
Points allowed, they're 31st. Yeah. Points allowed. So, yeah, they are giving up a lot of points. And Buffalo's scoring a lot of points. So, defense has got to really step it up if they want any potential chance of winning that game. Because Kansas City they're scoring 30 points a game as well. But it's still a little bit different,
Last pick, last game. Colts at the Ravens. I wrote my pick down in pen. It's official. What's your pick? Oh, I'm up first, aren't? Yeah, I'm up first. I picked Colts.
You picked the Colts to win this one, huh?
Yep.
Another team that I really despise and don't want to pick them, but they're at home. Colts don't they're a little bit iffy with quarterback injury. I'm going to go Baltimore on this one.
Ducks going
Safe
with the
as I say.
Ravens. So now this,
Lock
we
it in.
had 7 games apart last week. We have 8 apart this week.
Do we?
We have 8.
Wow.
We differ on the Rams Seahawks. We differ on Washington Saints, Bengals Packers, Steelers Broncos, Titans Jags, Browns Chargers, Giants Cowboys, and Colts Ravens. So we could see that big sweep. Duck could take it back.
Right?
Duck could take the lead.
We'll see.
This could be your week.
Good week of football for sure, though.
With that said, though, that is this week's podcast. We thank you guys for coming to check out the DukNilla NFL cast.
Yes,
Whether you were here live, we really appreciate that. If you're on Twitch and you're watching this as a VOD, or you go to the YouTube and you're watching this VOD, which, yes, please do. Go DukNilla on YouTube. Subscribe. You can rewatch the content if you need. Maybe you can watch it at your leisure. We highly recommend YouTube. It's slowly becoming my preferred platform. Slowly.
Yes.
But with that said,
for all of us.
We'll leave you guys with have a good night. Stay safe out there in this crazy world. And we'll see you next time.